Hello, this is Todd Luck, and if you're a thief, how do you know a heist went really, really wrong? When ghosts start showing up. This is a review of Conan the Barbarian #6 from Titan Comics. This is out right now. You can get it at your local comic shops or on Comixology, or you can wait and get it in a trade paperback. So this is the second in a four-part storyline, and the cover is by Jay Lee, who is yet another famous beloved artist who I own almost no comics of. I do have the ridiculously named Fantastic Four 1234 that he drew with Grant Morrison doing the story, and I quite enjoyed that. I tend to associate Jay Lee's artwork with having a lot of darkness and a lot of shadows. And you'll see none of that here, but I still immediately recognize it as Jay Lee artwork. He just has a very distinctive way of stylizing his characters. Now, this may be a little too stylized for some people. It's certainly more realistic than a lot of the stuff I saw over at Dark Horse. But I think the main thing here is just, I'm not sure what is supposed to be going on in this cover. At first, when I saw the thumbnail for it online, I thought maybe this was Bolit's ghost or something, but actually I can see that she is not floating. She is instead standing on this rock. So this is just plain old Bolit, and Conan is, I'm not sure, maybe worshiping her or something. And another question is, how would we recognize this as Belit? If you remember that she has pale skin from the Robert E. Howard short story, I guess maybe that would be an indication. But other than that, there's just nothing in the background or on her costume to really indicate who she is. And I don't know, I think it's an interesting concept for a cover, just Conan and Belit doing whatever it is here, but I just feel like the storytelling could have been a little bit clearer, and it could have just had a lot more interesting stuff going on, especially considering how many really, really cool looking things happen on the inside of this comic. But if you're looking for other covers, you've got several to choose from, and in my opinion, all the variants look fantastic. And I love this storybook variant of Conan. I mean, I would absolutely buy this storybook if it was real. Baby Conan bathes in the blood of his enemies. And the interior artwork continues to be amazing by Doug Braithwaite. And he used to do comics like Thor, and I thought he would be so perfect for Conan, and boy, is he. And I would be neglectful if I didn't also mention the incredible coloring that enhances this line work by Diego Rodriguez. This is just one of the nicest looking comics you could possibly buy. And so in this plot line, Conan is still getting over the death of Belit, even though it's been a while. He's still drinking very heavily, and he's thrown in with a band of thieves and going on jobs with them. He has numerous flashbacks to the events of Queen of the Black Coast, where he met Belit and she died. And this is kind of an interesting panel right here because I'm so used to John Buscema's depiction of the monster that killed Belit as being an ape with bat wings, that this is kind of an interesting other interpretation of it artistically. I do wish in this particular panel there had been more explanation as to what is going on. This is Belit's ghost coming back temporarily to save Conan from the monster. Not everyone has read Queen of the Black Coast or a comic adaptation of it, so it would have been a little polite to, let new readers know what this was. And so the thieves that Conan has thrown in on go on this job they probably shouldn't, and steal something they definitely should not have, and unleash these ghosts that will continue to haunt them and target them, and gets into some kind of horror movie stuff. And so that's pretty much the whole plot line. It's just Conan having flashbacks to Queen of the Black Coast while drinking and going on a thieving mission he probably shouldn't have to unleash these ghosts. And that's it. It's a perfectly decent storyline, but I think to me, the artwork is the main draw. Modern Conan comics are sometimes a hard sell for me because I know my back issue bins at my local comic shops are filled with fantastic Conan comics that do in one issue what this story does in four. And so I'm really looking for a comic like this to give me something I can't get out of the back issue bin. And I think that is the artwork. I mean, back in the day, right, Marvel wouldn't have even been able to produce the line work this nice, the way that comics were printed, but definitely not the coloring. I mean, they were lucky if all the colors even stayed into lines the way the comics were printed, much less looking this absolutely spectacular. And so I think that the coloring and the wonderful artwork is the reason to pick this one up. And like usual, there is an article in the back on Robert E. Howard Conan stories and a chainmail letter column. And according to this, chainmail actually gets its letters on scrolls that are delivered by messenger birds. There's also an ad in the back for Savage Sword of Conan, the first issue coming in February with this gorgeous Joe Jusko cover. And it's not solicited for March. So some people were speculating that it probably was not going to be monthly. And I think that would probably confirm that. I'm not sure what the frequency will be. The original Savage Sword started out several times a year, probably quarterly, and then went to bi-monthly, then of course eventually monthly. But what is in the solicitations for March for Titan Comics is Conan the Barbarian #9, and Robert De La Torre, the artist for the first plot line, will return to do that 4-part story. And they're kind of tight-lipped about what it'll be about, but it'll be involving the Black Stone, which is this thing that's been tying all of these plot lines together. I'm not sure what they're going to do after that plot line, if they're just going to alternate between the two artists that we've seen so far, or if they'll bring in other artists. I mean, part of me would love to see other artists get a crack at Conan, because I think that is one of the good arguments for doing modern Conan comics, is that there's an entire generation of artists that haven't gotten a crack at Conan or haven't been able to do much work on Conan that I would love to see draw Conan. So regardless of what direction they go in with the artist, I think this has been a good solid series so far that I do recommend picking up. And so the next issue should be out in February, along with the next issue of Fire and Ice. So like and subscribe for more videos. And until next time, remember the PSA of this issue is don't go stealing from ghost kids. It ain't pretty. See ya.